Hello, and welcome to the Audiation and Composition course. I'm Kevin, and I'm genuinely excited to have you here. We're going to have a lot of fun. Before you dive in, I'd like you to join me for a brief 2-minute experience. For these 2 minutes, I've integrated birdsong and rain sounds into the background. You're not going crazy. That is part of this audio. The natural soundscapes aren't just for relaxation, though. They're a glimpse of what we'll use throughout the course to recalibrate your focus, reduce stress, and prime your ear for deeper listening. Now, as you listen, notice the gentle, soothing rhythm of the rain and the spontaneous melody of the birds. This is what I call a join the hike moment. It's kind of a small, refreshing break for your mind, much like taking a short hike in nature to clear your head and spark new insights. During this sample, try to let go of distractions. Close your eyes if you'd like. I do recommend that. And simply notice how these songs make you feel. Maybe don't close your eyes if you're driving. They are meant to show you that learning doesn't always have to be rigid. Sometimes a little natural fun can unlock a world of focus and creativity. So just sit back, relax, listen to the sound of the rain and the birds. Now just listen to that note. Try and replicate that note in your mind. Try and hear it in as much detail as you can in your mind. What does it remind you of? Don't describe the note. What does it remind you of? Does it remind you of a flower, a book, a pencil? Think of an object that it reminds you of, and hold that in your mind while you're listening to this note. Now hear it internally. Listen to the note again. Internally. What about this note reminds you of some experience, some emotion, something you've encountered, a conversation you've had that had a particular mood to it? Don't describe it. Don't say it's bright with a bit of sadness. Maybe you hear it that way. Don't say it's red. Don't say it's green. Don't associate something that is normally an adjective. It needs to be bigger than that. What is it about this note? What does it remind you of? Let me know. I'd be curious what this particular note, which is A, by the way, reminds you of. So this is an example of the kind of course that we're going to have here. There's going to be distracting rain and birdsong and other nature sounds in the background. And I'm going to talk about why that is. Okay, so we need to first understand what audiation is. So now that you've experienced this brief nature interlude, I want to shift focus. Audiation is a process of hearing and imagining music internally, even when no instrument is playing or no sound is in the air. It's a skill that goes far beyond reading notes or playing by rote. It's about creating a mental concert where you can experience music in its complete form. The pitch, the harmony, the rhythm, dynamics, everything's going to be inside your head. This isn't the kind of training you've likely received before early in your musical journey. Many of us have felt that missing piece, a way to fully internalize and express music without always relying on external instruments or sheet music. This course is designed to address that gap. By mapping out a slow, methodical, and ear-focused process with distracting nature sounds, you're going to develop a more intuitive and creatively robust sense of sound. Let's talk about anticipating and overcoming some mental obstacles that are going to naturally come up in this course. As you work through these exercises, it's perfectly normal for your mind to throw up some objections along the way. It's natural. It's what our minds do, especially when we're trying to quiet them down. You might catch yourself thinking things like, this isn't working, this is a waste of time, this seems too easy, or maybe it's too boring. I need to get groceries. I need to pay a bill. Am I doing this right? I need more details, or I need less details. Maybe I should be doing something else. I hate the nature sounds. Why is he doing this? Why is all this put in here? I just want to reassure you that everything about this course is extremely well thought out, and there is a reason for it. And if you follow the process, you're going to get the result at the end of this course. So even thoughts like, I don't see the point, or this is never going to change how I hear music, these can crop up, and that's fine. What I want to tell you is, rather than fighting these thoughts, just acknowledge them as part of the process. They are signals that you're stepping outside your familiar comfort zone. And that's exactly where true growth happens. You may be sitting there thinking, I don't want to follow your instructions. I don't want to listen to you. I want to just get the information and do it my own way. I've heard that before. But every time you overcome these mental hurdles, you're not only training your ear, but you're also improving your focus and concentration, which is extremely important for audiation and for ear training. And for those of you that are struggling with ear training, this is the missing piece. So let's talk a little bit about how to effectively audiate, because I don't want to have to go through all this in the course repeatedly. I want to give you a lot of these tips so you can refer back to this, and our 40-minute exercises can be really devoted towards just practicing a technique, and I can be concise about that. So let's explore some concrete tips to help you audiate more effectively. This is going to sound a little bit funny considering I have bird sound and rain sounds going, but you need to eliminate distractions. So you want to find a comfortable, quiet space where you can fully focus. Turn off any unnecessary background noise, and even close your eyes if that helps you concentrate solely on the sound. We also want to practice our inner hearing. So instead of vocalizing, we want to learn to hear within your mind. We don't want to necessarily use solfege. We want to try and replicate whatever sounds I'm throwing at you in as much detail as possible. And I'm going to really emphasize this, because once you think you can hear it with a lot of detail, whatever it is I'm playing, I guarantee you can go deeper and you can hear more. We need to get deeper and deeper and deeper into all these exercises. And you'll find that as you repeat some of them, they get more profound. So this silent mental rehearsal is a powerful way to internalize and truly understand the music. I also want to keep the sessions relatively short and purposeful. So each session is designed to last about 40 minutes. I recommend practicing 3 times a week. You can do it more if you want. With audiation, it's hard to overdo it, but if you're using headphones, I wouldn't use them for too long in the day. Take them off and try it without your headphones as well. This frequency of about 3 times a week, it's really ideal for building consistency without overwhelming your attention span. I also want you to just slow down and be patient. Don't rush the exercises, each sound, each pause, and sometimes you're going to be thinking, is he there? Hello? Kevin, where are you? You're going to think I left you, but then you're going to hear me come back, I promise you, because I have spent a lot of time on all of these audio files, and I have gone through, I've edited them, I've made sure the timing is what I want it to be. But the key here is to just allow every note and phrase to settle in your mind before moving on. Everything in here is really meant to be savored. You want to take your time with it. I also want you to reflect on your experience. So after each session, just take a few moments to think about your observations. You don't even have to jot them down, although that can be effective. You can if you want, but just take a moment to think, how did you feel? Where did your mind wander? This reflection helps to reinforce your focus and helps consolidate your learning. If when you finish these exercises, you just note, my wandering was pretty bad today. I wonder why that was. Well, I was kind of tired. I wasn't really in the mood to do it, but I did it anyway. And then the next time you're in a better mood, maybe you got more sleep, maybe you ate, maybe you didn't eat, and maybe the audiation was better. Then you can keep that in mind, and this kind of reinforcement can also help subtly motivate you. These aren't just mechanical steps though. They're building blocks that are going to transform your approach to music. Ultimately, as you practice, you'll find your ear becomes more alert, your focus sharper, and your capacity for creative expression actually deepens. So to go through this real quick, there are 5 basic steps. Eliminate distractions, practice inner hearing. This is on me. We're going to keep the session short and purposeful. That's on you. You need to create purpose in these courses and realize there is a purpose for them. Slow down to be patient and reflect on your experience. So let's talk a little bit about these annoying little nature sounds, the birds and the rain that you're hearing right now. Let's just return to these natural soundscapes. The bird song and rain sound that you're experiencing right now, they are not arbitrary. From a scientific perspective, natural sounds have been shown to reduce stress and improve concentration. Your brain is wired to resonate with the harmonious patterns found in nature. Think of the unpredictable yet soothing melody of birdsong. There's a reason I'm using real birdsong. Contrast this with the consistent beat of rain. This combination helps recalibrate your auditory system. It enhances your attention to subtle details when you return to musical practice. There is a reason why when you study out in nature, somehow whatever it is you're studying becomes more integrated. I mean, unless you just absolutely hate nature. But hearing natural bird sound, you're going to hear these intervals and you're going to become accustomed to them in a very natural way. The other thing is you have to focus through them. So pedagogically, these natural sounds, they serve 2 primary purposes. The first one is sensory calibration. They offer a non-musical benchmark that sharpens your perception of both harmony and subtle tonal shifts. Birds are subtle. They don't always sing perfect intervals, right? They don't sing a tempered system for sure, where every note is equally a half step apart. So this reset helps prepare you for more challenging musical exercises. So that's point 1, sensory calibration. Point 2 is a mental anchoring. Just as a hiker might appreciate the scenery on a trail, you can appreciate these sounds as moments of mental reset and rejuvenation. They remind you that learning can be enjoyable and even meditative. Another aspect of my Join the Hike philosophy. In case you didn't know, I really enjoy hiking. So in this course, nature isn't just a decoration. It's an integral part of how we learn to listen deeply, focus, and ultimately transform our relationship with music. And I can hear the objections. Some people are going to say, well, I don't want those nature sounds. Get them out. And they're here to stay because they're going to make the training better. And when you start doing the exercises, you'll understand why. So to kind of summarize here, I just want to encourage you before you get started on your first exercise, before we fully dive into our work, I want you to remember this. This journey is about more than just training your ear. It will do that, but it's about unlocking a new way of experiencing music, a way that is deeply personal, creative, and transformative. Yes, there will be moments of boredom or frustration, but rest assured, these are the moments when your attention is truly being sharpened. Trust me on this. I learned this quite accidentally. And then when I started teaching it to my other students, I realized, okay, this actually works. So this is based on a lot of experience here. And by dedicating yourself to these focused exercises, you're taking what I'm just going to call a courageous step toward developing the ear you've always wanted. And each join the hike moment, each time you pause to listen to natural soundscapes, this will remind you that learning, when approached with patience and curiosity, can be both fun and relaxing. So take a deep breath and let go of those lingering distractions. Settle into your space, trust the process, and let's begin this exciting journey together. I want to welcome you to a new way of hearing the world, one note, one whisper of rain, one bird song at a time. And keep this in mind. Every time you think the bird song or the rain is becoming a little bit too much, remember that phrase, join the hike. If you've ever been hiking, when you're younger, they always tell you it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But the journey can be painful and boring. But experiencing that journey makes the destination worth it. If you were just dropped off at a beautiful waterfall and you didn't have to hike to get there, and when you got there, you had something to eat, some cold water, it was very refreshing, and you're able to just relax and enjoy that moment, it wouldn't be as meaningful. And you wouldn't have earned it in the same way as somebody that hiked. You also wouldn't have built up your physical stamina, your balance, your coordination, your ability to listen to things around you. You know, there's so many things that happen when you hike. So remember, every time you think it's boring, remember that a hike can be boring too. But through that, we have great rewards. So this is your starting point. As we progress, remember that while our sessions are structured and methodical, they're also designed to be flexible, enjoyable, and even extendable if you need to. If you want to watch any of these exercises, go through these exercises more than once, you can. They're 40 minutes long, so it'd be quite the investment. But again, 3 times a week is fine. If you do more, that's icing on the cake. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this approach transforms your musical experiences, and I can't wait to get started with you. So that's all I'm going to say about this. If I need to provide further instructions as the course goes on, it will be a separate file, and I'm just going to give you the basic instructions to get you started at the beginning of each exercise. It's going to be fun, it's going to be concise, no written assignments. You have to do nothing other than sit there or go on a hike, go for a walk, listen to these exercises. Although it would probably be better if you're sitting down, because I do recommend you close your eyes for a lot of this. So thank you. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. I will be here to completely support you. And let's dive into this audiation course. I'm going to say one more thing. I wasn't going to say this, but I also think you should mark this on your calendar. If you have like an Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, mark it and remind yourself. Set it as a reminder for every year. The day you joined the hike, the day that you started your audiation series, the day that you made a commitment to really developing that inner ear and developing your ear as a whole. Because what will happen is every year when that comes back up, one of 2 things will have occurred. You will either have remained consistent and you will have reaped the benefits of this course, or you'll be reminded how you started it but you didn't finish it. Or maybe you will be reminded of how much you've progressed. Even maybe you didn't do it all week by week. Maybe you only listen to it once a week. You can get benefits with even once a week, but setting it in your calendar is a very good way to remind yourself of everything that you've accomplished so far. I'll see you inside.